Dun, dun, dun. Today we are going to be reviewing the all-new AXCEL Driver Sight for the Bridgelock Matthews system. So we're just going to start right now with, hey, let's just start this review right now. Let's kick it off. Let's not talk away forever like I can do so easily. All right, so comes in the mail. I busted out in this little plastic gun case-esque plastic container, and it's got the eggshell foam in there, and it holds everything super solid, so now everything's not rattling around, getting scratched up and damaging your very expensive sight. You definitely want to respect the sight. AXCEL definitely respected the driver here and put it in this case, and it's a great case. Now I have to find something else to put in it because the sight is on my bow where it's going to stay because it's amazing. All right, so looking at the sight, it's already on my bow. You can see it right here. Here we go. You see the driver, and it's just an amazing sight. It's a great sight, and I love it a lot. I had the landslide on here before this, and now I have the driver on here, and setup was amazing. It was really quick and easy, and everything about this sight is awesome. So let's dive into it now. Okay, so the first thing you can see here between these two sights is the size. All right, so it's undeniable that the driver is a much smaller sight. However, don't think that the driver does not deliver on performance because of its size, because everything that the landslide had is now delivered in the driver package. All right, so it's absolutely amazing, and you'll notice that they both have the wheels, the elevation wheels, the driver knob, whatever you want to call it. This one has the 3-pin AccuStat scope. This one has the 2-pin Ranger pin on an AVX scope. Now, these are also interchangeable. Also right here, I have the 3-pin that can go on there as well if I want to use that, which I do. I use the 3-pin when I'm hunting, and I like to use the 2-pin Ranger at like a TAC or a 3D event, and so I used to swap them back and forth. But now that I have the driver, it's going to be my hunting scope, or my hunting sight, I should say. And so now I'll probably just keep this in the 2-pin version since it has the 2-pin indicators on it. And now new with the driver, we now have the 3-pin indicator. Now these are just kind of set, like out of the way right now. I don't have the top pin and the bottom pin sighted in yet. I do have the middle pin sighted in, so that's good to go. The metal sight tape on this one that's included now, up to 120 yards, where before they only came to 100 yards. So you'll see there they only came to 100. Now they come to 120 on some of the faster bows. They go up to 130 on the sticky tapes, the sticker tapes that you cut out. They go up to 150. All right. So if you read in there that AXCEL comes with tapes, sight tapes up to 150. It does. It's just not the metal tapes. It's the white sticker tapes. All right. So the driver wheels right here on the side. So here's the unlock button up here by my thumb. You unlock it. You can bring it wherever you need to go. It goes the whole distance in one revolution of a turn. So it's quick. There's no sitting here cranking away trying to get it down. If you're hunting and you need to just go somewhere really quick, it'll go the whole length. All right, so it has a dead stop that I removed. It's usually you have all these little screws right here, little screw holes right on top where you can put your dead stop wherever you want to put it. Mine's removed right now because I'm still figuring out my sight tape. So as soon as I figure that out, I'll put the dead stop in there. The way I sight mine up is, so my red pin, which you see I changed it out, it comes stock with 3 green. I put the red pin in the middle, the red indicator, to match the red pin. So the red indicator on mine will go to 20 yards, and that'll be my dead stop. So when I go to 20, when I lock it in for hunting, I usually go with 30 yards. I lock it in, and my pins will be set 20, 30, 40. And I usually don't move them for the duration of hunting season. That's just my style of hunting. That's my preference. All right, so when I'm sighting it though, when I dead stop it, I go all the way up, it's 20 yards, it'll lock out. And right now you see it's going just a little bit over the 20 yards. So I'll dead stop it right here at the 20. But then when I lock it in at 30, you'll see the top one will be 20, 30, and then 40. And like I said, I haven't really dialed them in yet. They're just there. All right, so we can move this metal tape up and down quite a bit. You'll see that the metal tapes now have 3 holes in them, so you can move them wherever you need to. The pins are micro adjustable with the Allen head screw inside the slotted area there, so you can move them up and down wherever you need to go. Your windage knob is right here, and you'll see now that it says go this way to go left, move your point of impact left, or move your point of impact right. So there's a little locking button level right here. You just move this down, get it out of the way, and click, 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 click. It'll go either way, and I'm not going to actually move it right now because it's set at 20 yards perfectly for me with my windage, and then lock it back into place. All right, so that takes care of that. The best thing ever on this is these 2 screws right here, all right, that mount to this rail. If you loosen this one and loosen that one, not to where it shakes a lot, just loosen it to where it's just enough to where you can get some movement out of it. We have now a first and second axis adjustment micro screw right here. So now you just loosen this just a little bit. You don't want it to get sloppy or nothing, just a little bit. So you can loosen this one just a little bit too. So now it can pivot back and forth off that top screw, and you can get that micro level right here when you're doing first and second axis. And I'll show you that in a minute, where I took my phone when I was setting this up earlier and I recorded a crude video on that, and I'll include it here, and you'll just see how easy it is. You also have your third axis right here, back up a little bit, right here and right here, and that adjusts the scope this way. And what that does is adjust the third axis. So when you're leaning this way, if you adjust your scope in and out, you'll see how it goes left to right. So once you get it centered in the middle like this, then when you're leaning for that down angle shot out of a tree stand, you know your bow is going to be level at an angle so your third axis is right, and it won't deviate your point of impact left or right. Because if your bubble's off and your third axis is off, and you're going to think your bubble's in the middle, but it's not, because your bow's third axis is off, it's actually leaning a little bit to the left or the right. You'll shoot to the left or the right, and your point of impact on your animal will be off. So make sure that third axis is set correctly, and I'll show you how I achieved that, like I said, with the video I made earlier. All right, so this rail right here has a bunch of screws right here, screw holes. They're all threaded, so you can move it up and down to customize it to the range of your bow wherever you need to. You notice here mine's not centered anymore. I actually moved it up a little bit and moved this whole system down a little bit to get my range of motion that I needed, because I wanted to utilize this whole entire spectrum of adjustability here. So you'll notice that when it's loose and I go all the way up, I can't go anymore, and I'm almost just a little bit above 20 on that one, which is perfect. If I would have been like right here and I couldn't have got that red pin all the way up to 20, then I would just move the whole rail system up one knob or one threaded hole, so I could go all the way up and get that 20, which is kind of close right now. Almost too close for comfort, but it makes it, so I'm going to leave it there. And I almost don't need a dead stop, because it's just so close that if I zipped it all the way up right there and left it there, being off two yards or whatever at 20 yards isn't going to make a huge difference on my point of impact on an animal. A little bit, but not a ton. So anyway, moving forward, we also have this little screw right here, and that little screw hole that's recessed in there will remove the whole scope housing. So if you're traveling and you want to throw it in the case that they provided, to pack it away in your suitcase so it doesn't get bumped around on, say, an airline flight or whatever, you can do that. It's very easy, and you should maintain all your settings with that. I would still advise you to shoot it. We have a really crude rough right here windage, so you can see the little indicators on this. If we loosen this bolt right here, we can get our windage, our crude windage, in and out to set that where we need to, and then we can micro adjust our windage here. All right. Also, the pins on AccuStat are amazing and really second to none. Like, I've been shooting this scope for a really long time, and you just go in there and you loosen whichever pin it is that you need to move, and you turn the knob down here, and you can micro adjust them pins. No more are you just kind of trying to bump them a little bit and hold them and tighten them at the same time. You know exactly. You can go clicks on this. It's like really small, or revolutions. I can't remember if I had dividend clicks in this, or if it was just like a quarter of a turn each time to just really micro tune them, but it makes it really easy to get these dead on accurate. Another feature is that they shortened the connection V-bar, and they also offset it. So on this one, I had to put an offset in to get my windage that I wanted. So I was in the middle of the windage. I could have just kind of maxed it out all the way over, but I didn't like that because I didn't have any room to just do any kind of adjustments. I was kind of maxed all the way out. Now with this one, I don't have to worry about that at all. With the windage built in, and it looks so much cleaner and so much sleeker, and there's less hardware involved to become loose or to have to adjust. Let's see, what am I missing? Right here is where the light goes in. So these are amazingly bright pins. So the pins on this are just amazingly bright, and it's one of the reasons why people love shooting AXCEL sights, because their scopes are amazing. They're all machined in aluminum in America, and they're just so bright. And it has the rheostat cover right here to slide, so when you're in full sun, you just see all the fiber optics here that's exposed to natural light, the sunlight, the lights inside if you're shooting an indoor 3D event. So much exposure to the light to be able to capture that and pull it into the tip of your pin, so you don't have to worry about it. Well, there's so much that sometimes it's starburst. They get really, really bright and they'll starburst. And if you don't know what I mean by that, it basically means that this little dot of light turns into the sun and it gets bigger. It bursts, so it gets so bright that it becomes bigger. And when you're trying to pinpoint a certain spot on a target, that might not be optimal for you. You might not want that, and I don't definitely want that. So what you do is you take this rheostat cover and you slide it over, and that shades that from the sun or the natural light or the artificial light indoors hitting it, and it dims your pins. So now they're not nearly as bright. And when you're outside, that is great, because I remember in the old days when there wasn't that, I usually stuck like a piece of duct tape on the side of my riser, and when I was out in the field and at a 3D shoot, you know, usually you're under a canopy of trees with branches and leaves that are kind of got like an umbrella over you, keeping your pins from starbursting. But then you get out in a field and shoot a target, and it's like, now they're starbursting, and it's like, holy cow, they're so bright. I'd take that duct tape off my riser and stick it on the top of my sight over where the fiber optics capture the light, just to dim my pins so I can make a more accurate shot. Now you don't have to do that. Now you can just slide this open and slide it shut, and it works great. And you can see right there, I don't know if it shows up on video, but I can tell just right here where this little bit of light is making a difference. All right. Even on this AVX scope, they offered that too, and it was on the side. And it's just an amazing feature. And still, all the exposure of the fiber optics, even on this scope, to keep it super bright. Now these pins are so nice and bright. They're a little bit smaller, I think. I don't remember if these are 10s or 19s, but they're definitely, they might be burnt down a little differently. Sometimes they have a bulb on the end of them when they get burnt down. I can't remember if they're just smaller or if they're just burnt down differently. Anyway, so moving forward, this sight is amazing. Absolutely awesome. It feels nice and solid in hand. Everything is quality made, machined, and manufactured in America by AXCEL. Virginia is where I'm pretty sure they're from. Don't remember an exact address, but they're just an amazing product. And you'll see that they have a whole line of these sights now for Hoyt, even though this one is bridge locks for Matthews. Now Hoyt's, you know, branded sight for this year for their bows is going to be the driver, and you're going to see the Hoyt branded driver sight for Hoyt now this year. It's an amazing sight, and that's why they're doing it. This is probably going to be the most popular sight of the year. All right, so let's cut into the video of me installing this, because it's super easy installing this, and we'll go through that, and then I'll go out, and it's only sighted for 20 yards. My sight tape hasn't been done yet. It's been extremely hot outside. I haven't been, you know, too in a hurry to get out in the sun and just burn up to get my sight tape done yet. I'm waiting for like a cooler afternoon, but I'll show you how well, you know, this thing looks on my bow and how well it shoots at 20 yards. Let's do that. All right, guys, I got the new driver sight, getting it all leveled up on my Matthews lift. You'll see that I got it mounted up in the Revolution bow vise by Last Chance Archery. Now, this is their specialty head that screws right into the stabilizer bolt hole on any riser from any manufacturer, even the Matthews, which uses a specialized bridge lock. It doesn't matter. Everyone has that threaded hole there. Now, this is going to pivot to allow me to perfectly set my third axis. Now, I can take my level tool and stick it right here on the front, and you'll see if I come around that we have achieved perfect level. So when I reach this forward, or when I position this forward, it is going to be completely leveled. All right. Now, back here on the string, I got my string level. You can see right there that the string is already perfectly leveled. I've done that. It's leveled this way too, just as a point of reference, just to really square it off. All right, and then we have right up here, again, because we're going to pivot it to get that third axis. And then we're going to go up here to the sight. Now, you'll see in the sight right there, it is already perfectly level. All right, but how you achieve that is very, very simple. AXCEL has integrated both the first and second axis by making the scope housing and the sight, I guess this would be rail that it slides up and down, the sight slider rail. Everything is perfectly squared off. So all you have to do is this one bolt right here. So you see that silver bolt right there. All right, you loosen this bolt, you loosen this bolt, you position your rail wherever you need to. You might need to take it apart. I had to actually move mine down a little bit for full range of this scope, or for the rail system. And then you loosen this, or you tighten and loosen this, and that will bring it left or right here. It'll bring your bubble left or right, because it will pivot off of this bolt up here. So it'll pivot, it'll move like in and out like this, depending on if you tighten or loosen that little silver bolt. Once you got your bubble right there, and I'll show it to you again, once you got it right in between the lines, you tighten down both this bolt and this bolt all the way. You don't tighten down this one, that's just an adjustment bolt. The silver one is just an adjustment bolt. Once you get it where you need it, leave it alone. All right, so that does that. Now comes the tricky part, and you're gonna see this phone shake all over the place because I'm operating it handheld. I'm going to pivot or pitch the bow forward, downward, 45 degrees. So let's do that now. So I'm gonna come up here and I'm just gonna grab a hold of the bow up here. I'm gonna move my level. I'm gonna loosen this up. I'm gonna bring it forward. Oh, and I'm gonna lock it off. All right, so now we're gonna come to the side. I'm just gonna show you how much I pivoted forward. It was more than 45 degrees. It's pretty serious. That's like a very steep tree stand shot right there. And if your third axis is off, that's gonna affect your shooting to the left or the right quite a bit. So with everything level, and we come in here and look at the bubble, let me get it zoomed in a little bit so you can see that I have already achieved a perfect third axis. I've already done the adjustment, and it's perfect right where it is, and that's just great. That's where it should be. Now I'm going to show you how I achieved that by coming around. So you have these easy to access two bolts right here and right here. All right, so you just loosen the two of them, and then once you loosen the two of them, then this whole housing is going to tilt this way or that way. So you just tilt it in and out until that bubble is level. All right, it's not going to affect any of your other adjustments, just your third axis. And once that bubble is level, you are good to go. All right, so very simple with the Last Chance archery tool, the Revolution bow vise clamped on for the easy green bow press. Everything you need. I have the 2.0 draw board as well, so everything you need to get your bow done, built right here in a small package, totally portable, can go anywhere. If you live in an apartment and you move often, you can take it with you. If you're traveling, you can take it with you. Great, great, great tool to have in your arsenal. If you're a serious bow hunter and you know how to do this stuff, then just save the money and do it yourself. All right, guys. Well, that pretty much wraps that. So that's how you do your first, second, and third axis. All right, guys. So you seen that I had the sight off of the bow. So I just mounted it back in. So hopefully everything will just be perfect like it should be. We're gonna find out right now. I bought some new Easton 5.0s to use this season. I'm only shooting 2 arrow groups because these things are expensive, and I don't plan on wanting to replace them anytime soon. And even with just 2 arrows and aiming at the same point of impact, looking for groups, it can still get a little risky with messing one up. So I'm not going to multiply that risk factor by adding any more arrows than 2 at a time. But the walking back and forth kind of sucks, but I'd rather save the money. So let's see if everything is still where I set it when I last shot this bow. here we go. Oh, and I put on the marsupial bino pack just to look cool. I really don't need it out here, to be honest. I just shoot with it now because I think it looks cool. And I want to be in the cool kids club like everyone else is wearing them. It's a joke. It's actually pretty convenient. All right, one arrow off. All right, so now since I got the cool marsupial binos, you know, you have to get out your binoculars, grab your bow, and do this part of the process. Oh yeah, and see, my eyes really suck. So yeah, it's a joke, but it's actually really honest because I couldn't tell where the arrows went to, and they look good. They look really good. So let's move down there and take a peek. I'm gonna take this whole camera rig, so here we go. We're gonna walk with it because I found when you don't walk with it to go get your arrows, people think that you've edited or you didn't really shoot both the arrows back to back because there's a little take and whatever. So whatever. All right, so I set my bow down over here. Now, bear in mind, this is the only 2 arrows I've shot today. Hell, I don't think I've shot in a week. And then when I shot then, it was minimal. You can see I got the little GoPro down there too. Getting all that, so let's just aim that down there. So look at that. That is not too shabby at all. And I can tell you right now that these could have been a lot tighter than that if my pin hold was better, if I practiced more. I'm a horrible example of not practicing a lot, but I always say in my defense, I've been shooting since, you know, I was like 6 and I'm 50 now. So the muscle memory's there, and that shows. Like a good setup, you know, will really help you get on target and do better with, you know, not having to invest into shooting so much. But I definitely should, because I'm getting so weak. I know you can probably hear me pulling my bow back like, because as I get older, I'm getting weaker. My eyesight's going bad. The pin's blurry, so it's getting bigger, so it's a little harder to stick right on that dot. But I'm just using, you know, the pin and putting the blurry spot right over that blurry spot, and they just seem to still line up. So, proof's in the pudding. There we go. Like I said, the 20's on. Alright guys, so what did you think about the new AXCEL Driver Sight? I honestly think that this sight right here is going to be the #1 sight sought after this year by so many archers across so many different bow manufacturer platforms. I really feel like the Hoyt is very smart to add it to their collection of branded accessories this year. I really feel like the Matthews Bridgelock sight offered by AXCEL right here is an absolute game changer for this bow, and I mean that for real, because I love the minimalistic design of it. This review is completely unbiased. If you've been watching me or my channel, you'll know that I've used AXCEL products since forever, and that's only been because I've tried every product out there, and it never just seemed to be the quality that AXCEL delivers on year after year after year. They always make these new sights, always design new products, and they're always so good. The sight is amazing. If, for instance, AXCEL didn't send me the sight, I would still be using my landslide that I paid for. I actually bought 2 of them, you know, with my own money. Before that, I was using the AXCEL AccuTouch with the also with the AccuStat 3-pin scope on it. I had 2 of them that I was using previously. So for the last 10 years, I've been using, you know, a slider sight of some sort by AXCEL. I would have eventually bought this sight, but quite honestly, the only reason why I haven't went out and just bought one is because money is tight, and this channel doesn't make a lot of money, believe it or not. So, you know, what little I do make, I'm usually just putting on credit cards because of buying camera stuff. The archery stuff, I usually get hit straight in the pocket for it, because camera stuff is so freaking expensive. But anyway, I hope that you like this video, and I hope that it helps you out find your products that you need, and good luck on your woodland pursuit.